This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
I'm Elijah.
And I'm Luke.
And today is, since Will's not here, I'll do it. Today is Manic Monday. I know you guys aren't used to that because I know you guys are subscribed, but I don't imagine you watch all of our videos. But
So what does this mean?
Manic Monday is it's just the name we came up with for our news segment. It's more of a news oriented segment. Every Monday we cover kind of a relevant new topic or that kind of a thing. The rest of the days of the week, you know, we do the review on Tuber Tuesday of another channel. The Wednesdays are usually interviews. Most of it is not time relevant, whereas our Monday segment is almost always time relevant.
Yeah.
So that's why it's Manic Monday. But why don't you guys tell everybody about your channel before we get started?
Luke, do you want to do it?
Yes, we work on the channel Rocket Sloth, and we make Halo content about, you know, Halo mysteries, Halo challenges, and all the other stuff that we find interesting from the Halo universe, and sometimes other things like Destiny or Call of Duty. And yeah, that's what we've been doing for the last couple years.
And you guys have a really cool channel. I cannot say enough good things about it. You'll hear a lot of good things I have to say on Wednesday about their channel as I'm interviewing them. But youtube.com/RocketSloth. I'm getting really good at just saying letters in a row to get to a YouTube URL over the last 6 months of shouting other people out. But definitely go check them out. And if you like what you see, go subscribe. So
Yeah, cool,
today,
thank you.
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
no problem. And since this is actually the last segment we're doing with them, normally I would really thank them on Friday, but I forgot to do that. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming on this podcast to start off the week, since it is Monday.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. It's
Yeah,
been a lot of fun.
Really appreciate you guys being here. And our quick topics before we get into the main one, which is the launch titles, which you saw in the thumbnail. We're going to be discussing whether these launch titles for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X/S are actually worth picking up a console day one. The first quick topic is the Halo Infinite release date kind of leaked or something along those lines. Basically, they had a art book that was slated for June of next year. I think June 21st was the exact date. I'm going to look that up real quick. But what do you guys think of that potential launch window?
I guess that gives us a launch window. But wasn't the Halo art book supposed to release before Infinite, or
They usually release pretty close to the time that the game would come
okay.
out.
Well, okay, my personal guess for Halo Infinite releasing was holiday 2021. But this would mean mid, or like, you know, within the first 6 months of 2021. And I assume June 29th, 2021 is just a placeholder. It's just like, you know, the half year mark.
I mean, it would be, but normally placeholders are either June 1st or June 30th, not June 29th. That's a much more specific date.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Because the 30th is the end of the month and the 1st is the start of the month. Those are good placeholder dates. The 29th is kind of a weird day. And it happens to be a Tuesday, which is a traditionally good day to launch a game.
Interesting.
I mean, it'd be a lot closer than I expected. I'd be fine with it, because I'm down to play a new Halo game. But, I don't know. It just seems... I don't know. I just can't... For some reason, I can't believe that it's actually June 29th. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like this would be the official release date. I still feel like it's going to be much later. I'd be pleasantly surprised, but I feel like we would have gotten an announcement then when the decision to delay the game happened, that they would be aiming for like a summer 2021 release. But since we didn't get anything, I felt like it made more sense that they would use all the time that they could and put it out in December, or not December, but like fall 2021 for the next holiday season. So I have a hard time believing it could be the actual release date, even this book, because at worst they could just delay the book again, or alternatively, we've seen content released in the past before a game's release, and it might release anyways and just show a lot of the concept arts and visuals that we're going to see in Halo Infinite without necessarily spoiling plot elements and some of the locations. So I don't know. I don't know. I really would love for the game to come out in the summer, but I guess I'm expecting the worst. That's going to be much longer.
The placeholder on Amazon right now, if you pre-order it, is December 31st, 2021, which means that they have absolutely no intention of telling us an actual date until they know what it is.
Right. I have a feeling that maybe at this point, Microsoft doesn't even know when they want to release it. And they're just gonna like just figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
It's like that Friday episode that people haven't seen yet. They've already got it done. They're just not releasing it.
Right.
Just kidding.
Exactly. No, yeah. I mean, that's like. I mean, the game is likely done, right? I mean, the real thing is.
The policy.
Yeah, like the game was supposed to release around this time or next month. So I mean, I'd hope that the game is probably mostly done, and now they're just gonna go back in and work on it for the next year, just putting the polishing touches to make it look really great, which is pretty cool.
So I guess if it did come out in June or even the summer, that launch window is kind of odd, right? Because there's not as many people buying things in the summer. Like Q1 and Q4 are usually the hottest times to sell a game.
Yes,
Right.
but I guess they're not going for sales per se. They're going for Game Pass subscriptions, and maybe it's a slow time for Game Pass, and they could boost those numbers by putting Halo on the Game Pass. You know.
I mean, they're gonna want to use Halo as a marketing tool to get people to buy the Xbox too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No matter
but I
what,
mean,
so-
Game Pass is probably on the forefront.
Right.
You know. And then the Xbox, you want the Xbox because you want Game Pass.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know. I assume like for subscription services, summer is also kind of bad, so they could boost it with Halo. Like, you know, people are gonna subscribe to Game Pass for Halo. Like,
Okay. So I was looking into this while we're talking about this, but so Dark Horse Books is working on publishing the Halo Infinite one, right? The Halo art book, right?
Yep.
I believe so.
So and they're set up to release it on June 29th, 2021. I'm just double checking. But if we look to another game series,
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, they released their art book July 28th, 2020.
Which was when
But
they
the
were
game-
supposed to release the game, I think, if I remember correctly, before it got delayed
Right.
again.
Right. So it could, though, also be just a more of a matter of, I mean, they put it out anyways, and
Build the hype.
maybe
with
it
the art
sold
book.
really well, and they decided that they would
Oh,
rather
yeah, I
sell the
guess.
book prior to the game's release.
I guess it could also be because people are like so desperate for like anything Halo,
Right.
that they'll buy the book in summer and then wait for the game till, you know, December or November.
That's a fair take. I hadn't thought about that because like the art books, I think they do better if you sell them prior to the game release.
Right.
Yeah,
Unless
'cause
you're like
people, like,
including it
hype
in
for
like
A legendary
What's it?
collector edition or something like that.
something else.
So do you guys want to move on to the second rumor slash
Yeah,
piece of
let's-
information? There's a whole
What's
bunch
next?
of tech sites that are putting this out there, and I don't think Nintendo would ever be set up for this, but there's a bunch of tech sites saying that Nintendo could move to a Switch cycle, as in like every year the Switch gets refreshed like the iPhones or iOS devices do, where like every year the Switch would get slightly better or iterative, and Nintendo could re-release it at the $200, $300 mark every year, and people would still buy it like people do with iPhones and stuff. I think the biggest issue I have with this, and I'll just lead into it with this, what reason do people have to get a new Switch every single year? Like, it's not a necessity. A phone at this point is almost a necessity. It's something almost everybody has that you need, and if your phone is failing, you're probably going to buy a new one. Whereas a Switch, like, what's the incentive
Right.
that you need a new one
Well,
every year?
Okay, so personally, I'm still running the iPhone 7, and I don't need to buy the new phone, right? There's no
Right.
reason for me. You can still have an iPhone 6, and it'll be fine. You can make calls, you can chat, you can watch YouTube on it.
Yes. And that's kind of my
Whatever you
point,
need.
though. Like, the Switch
But, like,
has a
well-
lot less incentive than a phone.
Yes, but also it'll be a lot cheaper than the phone, and you know, people still buying the phones, even though they don't bring that much new and they're way more expensive. So I mean, there's a market, and I mean, Nintendo always had strong like IPs. So maybe if there is a new Mario with updated graphics on the new Switch, people will go buy it. Maybe that's enough for people to spend $300 on.
I think
new
it's
Switch.
not. I don't think it's a terrible idea as long as they're not going to
Disregard the old ones.
Yeah, like make it where because they've already pretty much have been doing that. Maybe not on a yearly basis, but every other year. For instance, if you buy a Nintendo Switch right now, or any time from any of the Nintendo Switches that released through like midway last year till now, they're gonna get better battery life. Like the battery is a better battery than the version that launched in 2017. So they already have incrementally been updating like little things like that. I don't think it'd be the craziest thing if they make the next Switch like every year. They just like if you buy a Switch for the same price that you would have bought a Switch, it might have like some better features. And then at the very least, if you can rely on them updating it on a regular basis, you no longer feel pressured to wait a long stretch of time to buy a Switch if your Switch breaks or something like that. You can just be like, oh, I can just go buy the Switch and it's already going to run better than the one I have. And you know what I mean? Just like how a lot of people buy the newest phone when it's time to buy a phone rather than like holding out to, you know what I mean? I don't think people will buy a new Switch every year. I don't think there'll be the expectation to buy a new Switch every year. But I think like if I wanted a new Switch right now, because my Switch was getting old, right? Like it was 4 years old, battery life was bad, and I knew I could get one with a better battery at this point. Like I'd maybe consider it. I bought a new Switch this year actually, so I'm like, I think yeah, I mean I'm not against it. I think they've already been doing it though.
I didn't think about that because they did make that iterative revision to it, and they also took out the ability to jailbreak it with the new ones.
Right.
That hardware jailbreak that was like impossible to block off. They managed to do it, I guess, in some way.
Right. Yeah, and they did it with the 3DS too, didn't they? They had the original 3DS that could play all the games through all the generation, but then they would release the 2DS, the 3DS XL, then the 2DS revision that folded. And the 3D, the new 3DS. I think that was
the 2DS.
They had the new 3DS, the new 2DS, and
right, that was
the new 3DS, the new 3DS XL. Yeah, because there's
right.
3 models at the end. They all had the new moniker in front of them, and they had like a library of maybe 20 to 25 games that would only run on the new hardware.
Right, but a lot of the games would still like Pokemon, for instance, would still run on the older. Yeah, so I wouldn't expect like a Nintendo first-party game like Mario, Animal Crossing, or Pokemon to not run on the old ones. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea.
And I guess they're already doing the thing where they like, okay, so with the 3DS, the 3D was the main feature, right?
Yep.
But then they cut out that feature and just released the 2DS for people who didn't want the 3D, right? And now they already did that with the Switch, where people didn't want the TV mode. They just released a cheaper version, the Switch Lite, for just handheld, right? So it's always the matter with Nintendo, like taking maybe a feature out, but like upgrading the hardware a little bit.
How long do you think before they do a Lite with the TV mode, though? Because I feel like it's just a plug.
I don't think they're gonna do a Lite.
I think what they're gonna do is
they're just gonna release a new one. Yeah.
They'll take one and make like I don't know if you guys know what the PlayStation TV is.
Vaguely remember.
It was like it was a little box that had all of the Vita internals in it that could output to a TV, since they never made TV output for the Vita.
I remember you could stream the Vita to it, or use the Vita as a controller and the streaming device. I guess
no, it wouldn't work with the Vita as a controller. You would hook up a DualShock, either DualShock 3 or DualShock 4 as the controller for it.
I thought you could use a Vita as a PlayStation controller.
You can on a PS4, not on a PS TV.
Oh, okay, maybe that was it.
Yeah, it has the ability to be an extra controller on a PS4, but it's kind of wonky because I've done it before and it does not work. Doesn't work very well.
I remember like that E3 like demo they did years ago where they're like, look, you could be playing a driving game and use your PS Vita as a rear view mirror. And I was like, why would I do that?
That's like the shitty concept of the Wii U. Like
right.
The Star Fox game.
I will stand the Wii U forever. I love the Wii U.
It's got some great I liked games. It too. There was good. There was good games on there, but the concept was like useless, pointless. Like
there are some games where inventory management was much better on a Wii U because of the gamepad, but for the most part, it was a glorified inventory management screen.
Yeah, and I
Right.
mean, like, I don't know. I mean,
Why did you just pour all the DS games and stuff so you could like, I mean, whatever. Sorry, but
No,
I'm
they
just
did
like,
have a lot of DS games
did
that were
they?
able to play through the Wii U. Yeah,
yeah.
and if you hack it, you can play all of them. But
Oh wow.
I haven't done that. I definitely want to admit to that for sure. I have not done it. Uh, and Nintendo, I reiterate, I have not hacked my Wii U. Okay, don't come after me. Anyways, but as far as that goes, the Wii U, I think, great concept in regards to trying to do what they did with the DS on a big screen, but at the same time, like the DS was right in front of you, so both screens were always accessible right in front of you. The Wii
Right.
U, you could be sitting 20 feet away. It's not the same experience.
Right.
But I
Yeah, I think
digress. Nintendo, with the Switch, with iterative revisions, they could probably make it work, but I think they would lose some of the customer trust that they've had over the years. If they actually went full blown, we're a business here to reiterate the same thing every year and make it slightly better and sell it to you again at a higher price. I think they lose some of their. But they, I
Right.
mean, at the same time, they put out stuff like
Well,
Super Mario 3D All Stars, and
Remember,
it sells like
but,
hotcakes.
and also they put 3DS, the 3DS, the new 3DS XL,
yeah.
and they sold it without chargers because
oh
they
my
knew
gosh.
that
I mean-
people, like, I bought one and I didn't have a charger, and I was like, "What's
my
this?
personal
Wait, how am I
take.
supposed to charge this?"
I mean, I like playing Nintendo games. I like a lot of the franchises, but they have been anti-consumer, and a lot of times, like, people overlook it because it's Nintendo, right?
That's just their look.
They have done a lot of like shit that like a company like EA would have been crucified for on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. It's but
Like
like,
how Crossing's online system just works.
yeah,
Like the clunky,
Yeah.
like
like the
20
online
questions
doesn't work.
just to connect online and play with someone at the airport.
Oh my god.
People just give Nintendo a pass for a lot of things. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like I hit myself give Nintendo a lot of passes. I bought a Wii U for I gave him a pass.
And I
I
bought a
thought,
Wii
okay.
too.
Another thing, no other company is like in a lawsuit with the European Union about like refunding video games. Like, you know what I mean? Like every other company was just like, I guess we'll just allow refunds, but Nintendo like, nah, we'll go to court. Like, you know what I mean? They're so adamant that the consumers can't return a video game, like that they're taking, the European Union to court. Like it's, I don't know. It's like 2K, asking for people's help because they want the loot boxes, want to keep the loot
Right.
boxes.
I mean, Nintendo is basically like the Apple of the video game world, right? Like everybody gives them a pass for a lot of things they wouldn't give other companies a pass for. They are
Yeah.
basically. I mean,
But I
they're
mean, with
they're less
Apple-
they're less super. Let's make every last dollar like Apple is, but at the same
Well,
time, they're similar.
With Apple, it's kind of shifting again because now, like Samsung is also really expensive, and then Apple releases like an iPhone SE that's that's good value. You know what I mean? Like, so
Switch
it's-
Lite.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Switch Lite also, if the Joy-Con breaks with the drift, which happens a lot, the console is
No,
done. Like you can throw away the-
Nintendo officially said no. It
They
doesn't
said they
work.
don't have Joy-Con drift.
Yeah,
I know.
they don't exist. They
just
took
say that.
people to court about it. Like, you know what I mean? And there was, they said officially it didn't exist, but then there was leaked documents within the company where they acknowledged it. Like, you know what I mean? They're trying the hardest to I mean, it's a big
Yeah,
topic.
I mean,
I'm sure there's
they're-
other
they're-
shits that-
They're just like every other company, obviously, and
Yeah.
they want to make money, and they make really good games. But yeah, I mean, that's just it though. They make such great games that people are willing to just overlook stuff sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, they're selling like the old Wii U games for $60 again and stuff like that.
Pikmin 3.
It
Oh,
starts
man.
with that stuff.
Don't even get me started on Pikmin 3 because you know what they did? Like this will be the last part of this. I promise. We'll cut this segment at this point. But Pikmin 3, right before they launched Pikmin 3 on the Switch, they dumped it from the eShop, which it was $20 on the eShop, by the way, and said we are no longer selling this on the Wii U eShop. And then they immediately announced $60 Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch. And it was like, hold on. You're telling me I could have got this game for $20 yesterday, but today now I have to pre-order a $60 game on the Switch, and that's the
Heck
only way to
yeah.
buy it.
Heck yeah. No, Animal Crossing. I don't know if you play Animal Crossing.
No.
But oh my gosh. Okay, my wife never played Animal Crossing before. So when it came out, I played it. I showed it to her. She fell in love with it. We shared an island, but because she's on my Switch, she couldn't have her own, like even on her own profile, she can't have her own island. She has to. It bypasses the way all the other games work, where it lets you have multiple profiles and forces you to share an island. So we ended up having to not only buy a second Switch so she could get her own island, but also we had to buy the game a second time.
Oh my
And
gosh.
to make it worse, if you bought 2 physical copies of Animal Crossing for one Switch, they would still share the same island. So even the cartridges, like the only way you can have 2 islands is 2 Switches. And it's just like, it's like, come on.
That's pretty
Oh yeah,
anti-consumer.
that brings me to another thing. The games you buy are tied to the console, not your account, right? So you can't re-download them. Like you can't just buy a new Switch, I think, and download a lot of them. Or at least it's how it used to be.
The
Maybe
when I got
Wii, the Wii and Wii U were like that.
When I got when I
Maybe it was in
lost
the
my
early
Switch and I
days.
bought a Switch, I was able to re-download my things, but I had to take them off the old Switch. Like I had to.
Oh, maybe it's maybe you can't
Yeah,
have it
it's
on
not,
two
it's still
consoles.
they fixed it where
At the
it's
same
tied to
time.
your account, not your
Yeah.
console. But the license, it's almost like the 360 days where you could only have a license on one console at a time, and then if you were
Yeah.
signed into another console, like, then you could use it on that console. But like the Switch, the licenses are physically stored on each individual console. So like once you download it to that console, you'd have to remove it from that console to put it on a new one.
And on Animal Crossing, when my wife was on my Animal Crossing island, I pay for Nintendo Online, but she couldn't log on to Nintendo Online unless she was on my account. So we have to pay for Nintendo Online twice. I mean, we have the family membership now because it's cheaper than buying 2 accounts. But I'm like, come on, like we have it on the Switch. We have 1 island. We're not allowed to have 2 islands. Like, but only one of us can use the online feature. I was just.
It's still cheaper than what it would cost you to do 2 Xbox Live accounts.
Right, but Xbox Live, you could have 2 consoles in your house and only pay for 1 Xbox Live and only buy the games once, and both the Xbox consoles could play it at the same time.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
it is a completely different scenario in general, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, Nintendo Online is not a very expensive service.
no, it's not. But I was just triggered about how anti-consumer it is.
It is not a very expensive service, but like you're not getting much for it either.
Yeah.
No.
And I had to
Like,
buy a Switch twice.
I do think $5 for the stuff you get is overpriced. Like, I don't know. Like, you don't get anything from it. You get like a shitty, like they don't do online in their games, right? Like, if you want to visit someone's island in Animal Crossing, it's like a 5-minute journey, like through
Questionnaire.
texts and questions. You click one wrong question, you have to go back and restart the whole process and wait another 5 minutes, and then the servers will disconnect and like or if you want to play Smash Bros online, it's impossible to actually get in a competitive game.
Man, I feel like I opened up a huge can of worms with this topic.
Well,
Yeah, you didn't realize this Pandora's box just waiting.
we do like Nintendo a lot.
We're really, really big Nintendo fans. and
Yeah,
we
I think
never
all
talk-
three of us are.
we never get to
Yeah,
talk-
but I mean, we never talk about Nintendo since we do Halo content. But so like,
This was our one chance. I have a Mario statue that's 5 feet tall next to me, or
You
4
should
feet tall.
just do a vlog of that. I want to see this thing.
I think it's in the background of some of the videos we've done.
So you guys want to move on to the main topic?
Yeah, I guess we could.
Let's go before we.
We could start a whole nother video of that.
So I just want to quickly just talk about, these are the launch titles, at least all the ones I could find for the next gen consoles. As far as the Xbox is concerned, it's got, well, I'll just tell you which ones are actually exclusive to Xbox, and that would be basically Gears Tactics, which is also on PC, right? The rest of the ones on this list are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Bright Memory, Dirt 5, FIFA 21, Fortnite. Really? That's a launch title. Marvel's Avengers, Observer System Redux, Tetris Effect Connected, which is on other consoles, but the new version is not going to be debuting on the PS4 until 2021. There's Falconeer, Watch Dogs Legion, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. And like I said, the only one that's not launching on other consoles, including Xbox One because it's a last gen console, is Gears Tactics. On the PS5, you also have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Marvel's Spider-Man, which is an actual exclusive, but also coming to PS4. Marvel's Avengers, Astro's Playroom, which is a exclusive PS5 title, and that makes sense because it's basically a demo for the console. Demon's Souls, another exclusive PS5 title, but was originally a PS3 title. Destruction All-Stars, which is like their All-Stars series of games. Devil May Cry 5, which is on a ton of other consoles. I did not include that on Xbox, but it is actually coming to Xbox Series X. FIFA 21, Dirt 5, Fortnite, Godfall, which is also coming to PC. The Observer System Redux, also on... Oh, that's on the PS5, but it's on the Xbox Series X, is what I meant to write there. That's a typo. Sackboy, clearly a PS5 exclusive title because that's from the Little Big Planet series. That's that guy. And then Watch Dogs Legion, which is also on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PC, Stadia, and PS4. So there's a lot of games, but they're not really exclusive to the launch lineup.
Okay, looking at this, my first take is it just shows that Xbox isn't going for selling more consoles anymore. They're going for subscribe to the Game Pass. We don't care if you're on Xbox, an old Xbox, or PC. Just subscribe to our Game Pass. That's how we make our most money, right? And PlayStation is always going for the old style of we'll put out these big launch titles and then people will buy the consoles off of that, right? Which is fine, but I feel like Xbox has withdrawn from the console wars and PlayStation is just fighting with itself now. Like, that's how I feel it is personally.
Yeah. No,
because
I agree with that. I mean, they're not
get
even
all the
marketing
Game Pass
launch
games
titles
too,
for
right?
Xbox. They're just like Game Pass.
Yeah, they're just Game Pass titles.
Like what would they rather promote? Like in a commercial, like the fact that Halo's coming in the future and like you can get Game Pass. They'd rather promote that than the new games.
Just get Game Pass. You know.
Yeah.
The most interesting title on either of those lists for me is Demon's Souls, personally. Like, that's the only title that I'm like, wow, I might actually go get that.
Don't the games like cost like $80 now too? Like
70, yeah. Except
maybe
Microsoft's still doing 60 $80. Though. Microsoft's still doing $60 games.
Yeah, Microsoft's doing 60, and in Europe they're doing $80.
Wait, is Demon's Souls a PS3 game?
It was originally
it's a remake.
A PS3 game, yeah.
Well, this one that's a remake.
It's a remake, but it was a PS3 exclusive. And it was the or essentially the origin of the Dark Souls series.
Yeah, that's the first Souls-like game.
I never knew that.
But well, I can speak for Europe because I saw a lot of friends there. But they're selling it for €80, which is like more than $90 or almost $90.
Holy cow!
You know, imagine having to pay $90 for a game. Like,
imagine my hype finding out right now that Spider-Man Miles Morales is also on PS4 because I did not know that. I thought it was PS5 exclusive.
Hey, no, you don't.
They announced it that way.
I was like literally thinking like maybe I'll wait until Halo comes out and just buy a PS5 so I can play that. But I actually have a PS4 I bought just for the last Spider-Man and I haven't used it since. So maybe I should just buy it for the PS4.
And here's the good thing: it'll only cost you $50 on the PS4. Versus 70 on the PS5.
Yeah. Versus 70.
No, 50 versus.
Why is it only 50?
Because it's only a PS4 game.
Wait, but all PS4 games are $59.99, right?
No, this one is $49.99. They lowered the PS4 prices and then higher.
Do you know why they did that? Because
I have no idea.
So the reason why is because it is
pattern.
Not an upgradable title. It will not be. If you buy the PS4 version, it will never work on the PS5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine by me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so, you know, you don't have to spend $570. You just have to spend $50. You know.
I'll one day get a PS5 maybe, but they're just.
I mean they're huge.
There's got to be a game that like if there is a game I really want to play, I'll buy a console for it, and that's just how I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
mean,
but like,
that makes sense.
And then I'll go back and I'll look at all the games I kind of wanted to check out, but like, I don't know. Spider-Man and Detroit Become Human were the two games I really wanted to play, and I bought a PlayStation 4 pretty much for that, and I had a good experience. And Miles Morales would have been like that one game maybe on PS5. I was like, that looks fun, but I can just play it on PS4, so I don't know what.
Well, these are all launch titles, remember? So for me, nothing here says I must buy a new console.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. That's very true. And I mean, you can just subscribe to Game Pass on PC because everybody has a PC, and that's where PlayStation loses out, I guess. And one more thing I wanted to bring up, I feel like our generation grew up with like you have to pick between PlayStation and Xbox, right? But now a lot of us are grown up. We have money, so I feel like there's a lot of people who'll just buy both consoles, and that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like
what games do you want to play?
Obviously, not everybody can afford it, but like, I'll just buy both consoles. Like, I don't have to decide anymore.
And like, I don't think at this point, like you shouldn't be weighing out like which console is better, but you need to weigh out like what type of gaming experience do you want more. Like for someone like me, I love just having all those games in Game Pass and being able to just like find something new to play. But like if you're really about like graphics and like the titles that are exclusive on PlayStation when they come out, like then I get it if the PS5 is the route. Like
I also feel though the PS5 is more like if you play games alone a lot, versus Xbox is if you play games with your friends, because then your friends can just get Game Pass. You'll have an access to a bunch of games you can play with your friends. You can try for $5 to $10.
It's been nice not having to convince people to buy a game.
Yeah, like we'll sit there at night sometimes and just look through Game Pass, just download a random Game Pass game, play it for one night, and if we don't like it, we didn't have to buy the game.
Mud trucking game we got the other day?
Mud Runner. Yeah, we just played Mud Runner for a night, and we're like,
it's like a mud trucking simulator. And while I was playing it, I was like, man, this game might get fun once I get out of the mud. And then I had a realization that that's the game, and I was like, oh.
But I mean, I'll eventually buy a PS5 probably too, just because there are some titles that I'll probably play on it, like Demon's Souls. Maybe I'll finally try the Spider-Man games.
Right.
But you were totally nailing the nail on the head, or hammering the nail on the head with the you'll just buy all the consoles. Because I just thought about this, like, I don't have all the consoles. I looked over. Oh, I got an Xbox One, I got a PS4 Pro, a Nintendo Switch, a Wii U, and a 3DS. I'm like, oh man, I'm such a liar. And a PS Vita.
When Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 was around, like the generation that was able to afford like two consoles, right? They just weren't that much into consoles. Like they were from a different generation, right? And now we're grown up, and a lot of us can afford both consoles. So I feel like the picking and choosing isn't really there anymore for. I don't want to say most people, because I'm sure
the console your friends have. Like,
yeah, just buy the console your friends have.
Or if you play by yourself, and then decide what's better. If you want to play those really cool PlayStation exclusives, or if you want to have a lot of like games in Game Pass to choose from without having to pay more than your $10 a month.
Yeah. Like if Persona ever leaves the PlayStation, I will never buy another PlayStation. That's basically it right there.
I still think Xbox and xCloud will try to leverage Sony at one point and be like, look, just make it an app. Just let us just let us.
You get Elder Scrolls 6.
Here's Elder Scrolls 6. You can sell it, and they can play it on Game Pass. Just put the app on there next to Netflix.
And we do know Todd Howard is really good at selling Elder Scrolls, so he'll just sell it again.
That was what I messaged Luke right after they Xbox bought Bethesda. I'm like, dude, this is like a fairy tale ending. Todd Howard got to sell Elder Scrolls one more time, and it's just
Skyrim.
like it's Skyrim to Microsoft.
Well, I think the last thing I just want to say is if they can actually get the browser of the iOS devices to run a full-blown Game Pass, can you imagine what the browser of the PS5 can do?
Block it.
Like the one website in the whole browser just blocked.
Yep. You have to somehow install a VPN if you want to access it through your PlayStation.
I mean, what would Sony do if you could just full-blown run Xbox Game Pass in the browser? Oh, they just want to have a browser. That'll be it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It'll be like the Nintendo Switch browser. It's there, but you can't use it.
I'm thinking that'll happen on Switch next, too. It'll be able to run in the Switch browser.
Well, maybe, but that's the thing. The browser is on the Switch because if you connect it like a hotel that has like a login page, it'll load the login page. So you can like click accept and type in the password and stuff to connect to the internet. But then like that's it. You can't use the internet. Or can you use the internet? Did they ever add a browser to the Switch?
No.
I need to go look now. I don't think.
Is there even YouTube on the Switch yet?
There is
YouTube
on the Switch now.
It's
not
all
Netflix.
apps.
Oh, not Netflix. Sorry, Netflix was the last.
That's what I'm thinking. Why Sony didn't even really include browsers on. I'm guessing PS5 won't have a browser. I'll be honest. That's why they want to have that the app to cooperate, not cooperatively, but it's supposed to be like a companion app, like what they do with Smart Glass for the Xbox 360, where you can look things up on screen while you're on your thing. But you know what? I can just Google just as easily. You know, it's like I don't really need an app on my phone to use as a companion app for my.
I mean,
how many times have you opened up Facebook app on the Xbox 360?
Never.
Never.
Exactly.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess, you know. And I mean, for the Switch, maybe it's a little different because of the handheld device. It's more
I
like
would
a
probably
tablet.
use that browser if I
but on the
found
Xbox,
a reason to.
every time Edge opens on the Xbox, I have a little aneurysm because, like, I'm like, God damn, what did I just do wrong? Like,
The other
it
one
only
is
opens up on accident.
or the other one is the help. Have you ever clicked on that by accident and like takes you to like the assistance question mark page on the side of the Xbox? It's like a manual. You're like, what is?
So when was the last time you guys actually bought a launch console?
Switch.
That was actually the only time I've ever bought a launch console.
I think the last time I bought a console on launch, it was either it was Xbox 360. That was the last time I bought a console on launch.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I don't know. I've never bought consoles on launch because I always had a PC, and then consoles were just optional later on.
My mom got me a Wii on launch, but I couldn't open it till Christmas.
Yeah, maybe I got a Wii on launch too, but I guess we did get it for Christmas too, and I was with my sister, so maybe I don't remember. Oh, they got it later. Maybe they didn't get it on launch. They just got it around Christmas. But I wouldn't consider it getting it on launch, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, because I bought a PS3 after launch. I bought an Xbox One after launch. I bought a PS4 after launch. There's like nothing I bought on launch since the 360. So
you haven't needed anything.
I probably won't be changing that now. I'm not going to buy an Xbox Series X or a PS5.
I mean,
I'll get a Series X if I can get one. I couldn't get a pre-order though.
I mean, I
try
pre-ordered it, so.
Although I actually might be breaking that rule. There's a little niche, not niche, but it's a smaller market, more of a casual market console is coming out next April. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. I am getting this one on launch. You ever heard of this thing?
Is it like the, what is it called? The Ouija?
Intellivision. That's you're thinking of the Ouya mixed with a Ouija board, which is an odd combination. No, the Intellivision Amico. It's coming out next April. It was supposed to come out in October, but delays due to the current
What
crisis.
is it?
Very interesting looking.
It's
looks like it has a little Sony Walkman.
Looks like a home phone.
It's almost like a Wii 2.0. It's made for like families and like cooperative play on a screen, and it has a lot more retro style but modern era graphics games. But it's not like a plug and play. It's an actual true console system.
Interesting.
Yeah, I am buying this on launch because I just find it so fascinating. But that's
got like little iPods.
Yeah, that people said it looks like the old. I don't know if you've ever seen an original Intellivision console.
Yeah,
it's styled like
vaguely
that.
Remember them.
Yeah, I was about to say
when they like didn't have a cord.
Yeah, that's the legacy version, the original Intellivision. But yeah,
what games are going to be on there?
Like Earthworm Jim is going to be on there. A lot of like more casual style, like games I could play with my wife because she's not really a gamer, or like with my kids who are young. More family-oriented cooperative games. I could go into a whole spiel on it. We did a 2-hour interview with Tommy Tallarico. You can go watch that. But yeah, that's the only console of the last 10 years I'm buying on launch. So that's it. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
And you haven't tried Animal Crossing?
I never said like I'm the biggest casual guy, but I know a lot of people that I hang out with are casual players. So,
but Animal Crossing, so much fun. Seriously, it makes non-gamers gamers, and it has couch co-op.
Okay.
You should try it.
I will consider it. I will consider it. Okay. You guys have anything else you want to say about launch titles?
No, I mean they're not that great, I guess.
Well, get Game Pass or don't get Game Pass. I guess that's
those are your two options.
Anyways, I just want to thank you guys for coming on here. It's been a real blast, a real treat talking to you guys.
It's been a lot of fun
having us.
And as always, I'm Chris.
Elijah.
And I'm Luke.
And we will see you on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.